Welcome. Today we're going to be covering yet another hero. Looking at my schedule, do I even cover a villain this week? Oh, yes, I do. So tomorrow will actually be a villain. But today is the Scourged Soul. So this was actually kind of a bit of a, I guess you could say, a remake or a revamp of a hero that I kind of made back in high school. He was just a quick little doodle that I did, but I called him Scourge. And this one's kind of a revamp of that character. Um, but again, once again, I had a lot of fun with this one, as you can see with the doodle, and a little more fun with the character design and the, adding incorporating chains and stuff like that. So with this one, I had a little more fun, and to be honest, I had even a little more fun here a couple days ago when I redrew him. But with him, I kind of adjusted his backstory a little bit. His backstory has actually changed multiple times throughout the years as I continue to evolve it and refine it. So here's the doodle I did, and let's get into the redoing here. Once again, just how do I want to say this? Because I don't want to spoil too much. Pardon me, from the backstory, but with him, I kind of went back to the original idea of him being a a guardian gargoyle. We've already covered three, I believe. So there's the storm goyle. There's the what's his name? The granite gargoyle. And who was the other one? I thought I had another one as well. Can't remember. May have been just those two. Maybe I was wrong. But anyway, yeah, I did him as another one of the granite gargoyles, and so as you can see, I refined him into rockish body rather than in the original doodle. He was just a kind of a soul on fire, but with this one, I gave him more of the rock feel. And I went with kind of a bluish color, and then obviously I kept the chains. I really enjoyed the chains, just kind of one of the ideas of him being chained and that idea. And then I gave him a green flame, and I'll get into that in the backstory as well. But anyway, that was the granite gargoyle. One of the other things too is I took a little inspiration from the Hellboy artist Mike Mignola, and I really enjoy how he does a lot of his statues, and he did some statue studies for a movie he was doing or something like that. I couldn't remember, but he had incorporated these weird little designs that he'd seen in cathedrals and other medieval buildings, and I was like, I want to incorporate that into, because again, if you remember the original doodle, really the only thing that made him different is he had a flaming head and he had chains, and he looked a little too much like the granite gargoyle that I just got done redesigning, so I wanted to give him a little more variation in his gargoyle-esque design. So yeah, I incorporated these little shoulder spikes, I guess you could call them. But yeah, let's get into his final illustration here. So yeah, here's his final illustration. The granite gargoyle. Let's get into his backstory and powers and abilities. So the Scourged, did I say granite gargoyle? I'm sorry, this is the Scourged Soul. And once again, I've done so many gargoyles now that I'm starting to get confused. But yeah, this one's the Scourged Soul. His backstory: in the late 1600s and early 1700s, rumors began to surface of a demon dwelling in the remote forests of Western Europe. Very similar again to like the granite gargoyle and the storm goyle and stuff like that. So this being was said to protect the innocent from invading forces. Villagers across rural Europe came to call him the Demon of Peace. During World War II, this creature was captured by the Nazis and studied in an attempt to harness and replicate its mysterious powers. When the creature was later liberated by the Allied forces, it was taken to the United States under a precursor program to the Titan Initiative, which we've discussed a little bit here in some of the previous videos. With the aid of the sorcerer Baldboy, the entity, now called the Scourged Soul, was tamed by unlocking the consciousness trapped within it. It was then discovered that this being was in fact one of the ancient guardian gargoyles, a soldier from long ago who had volunteered to fuse with a gargoyle through an ancient spell. So once again, this was just a soldier back in, the medieval times that saw great evil and wanted to defend himself or defend, his village and stuff. So he fused himself with one of these gargoyles on a cathedral, and became one of these guardian gargoyles. So his real name is Okay, I could say it a minute ago. Let's see if I can say it here. Mimic is his real name, and then he's about 5'7", and he weighs quite a bit because he's made out of mostly stone, 847 pounds. So his powers and abilities, like his brother in arms, like the granite gargoyle, the Scourged Soul wields power over a unique and mystical flame. Unlike the holy fire, unlike the holy fire harnessed by the granite gargoyle, the Scourged Soul's green flame appears to draw its power directly from the earth itself. Those struck by it suffer a toxic, corruptive effect. The Scourged Soul also demonstrates a degree of nature control, able to command plants, soil, and even animals. He retains the typical abilities of guardian gargoyles, as well as including enhanced strength, durability, and endurance. So again, he is a guardian gargoyle, so, a lot of the abilities that come with, durability and strength and stuff, he has. But one of his specialty abilities is this green nature flame that he has that causes a toxic, corruptive effect when it hits enemies. And then he also has the abilities to, in essence, kind of control nature, very similar to kind of how like the storm goyle is able to control like the weather to some degree. So, but yeah, his powers and stats, once again, very similar to like the granite gargoyle and the the storm goyle. Decent strength, durability, stamina, pretty good with speed. He's very similar to the granite gargoyle, and he isn't able to fly, but he has great agility and speed and reflexes rather than the ability to fly. So intelligence is a little low. Again, he's just kind of the mentality of a basic medieval warrior, so not great intelligence, but nevertheless, he's got great power projection. He can emit powerful blasts of fire and stuff like that. So, but anywho, so yeah, that is the Scourged Soul. So we'll be sure to see what other gargoyles I can whip up here in the next little while. But I think, to be honest, I don't know if there's any other real gargoyle-ish guys I'll be doing here. Not seeing any, so, but who knows what the future holds. But anyway, we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in.